Good morning, Suzuki Science. This is our first face-to-face class that we will be doing together, Cohort A. And Cohort B, you will be online working on the distance learning part of this lesson. And depending on whether or not I see you face-to-face or online, you'll be doing one of two different things. By the end of the week, we'll all be at the same place, however. So to that effect, I want to go over the schedule with you. So tomorrow, I see Cohort A in the morning. Wednesday and Thursday afternoon from 1:20 to 2:35, I'll see both classes together combined. Remember, this is a class. You don't just show up, or I noticed quite a number of you were, if I have that document, I don't, but a number of you were coming in, going out, coming in, going out. I don't know if you're working with technical difficulties or whatnot, but it is a class, and it is something that will be, depending on what activity we're running on, either assessed or we'll be building up capacity to be successful in a future activity. And then on Friday, I'll see Cohort B in the morning, and then it'll be the end of the week. So typically at the end of most weeks, there'll be something that you're submitting. I'm most likely going to make our due date Monday, so that way the Friday group, sadly, you get your lesson at the very end of the week, and I want to make sure you guys have enough opportunity to work on whatever you need to. There should be enough time throughout the day, but just to make sure you have every possible time to complete it, I will most likely make my deadlines on Monday before I start teaching again. All right. So if you go to the Google Classroom, you'll see that I have this announcement, and I don't typically put due dates on my things here because Google Classroom does a little weird thing with due dates. And if you go through this announcement, you'll see it's numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 10, and this special thing over here, this collaborative document. So always start with 0. I will typically put my videos that support a lesson at the very end, because I'll typically make them after I've uploaded the lesson so I can click on things and make it as realistic as possible. So if you click on this very first link here, what will happen is I'll open up a Google Doc, and that Google Doc is the frame for the lesson. The face-to-face class, so Cohort A, I'll see you tomorrow. You're in this column here, the left-hand column. That's what we're looking at. So you could preview it if you'd like. I always recommend previewing lessons because it allows you to integrate the knowledge a little bit better. You can pay more attention to what I'm talking about as opposed to trying to play catch up. If you're Cohort B, then you're doing learning online without me, independent learning. You'll notice that there is a support teacher that it's Ms. Dave, that will support the online, but Ms. Dave is not a biologist. She doesn't know the content. So it's something the school set up, or the board set up as a structure, but the structure doesn't work. So if you have any questions, then just send me a message and I'll respond. Okay? So distance learning, you'll notice that distance learning, so on Tuesday, this will be Cohort B. On Friday, Cohort B, you'll be doing the class stuff, and Cohort A, you'll be doing the distance. Okay? That's the way it's scheduled unless you decide to go outside the schedule. So I don't really need to go over what I'm doing with the class tomorrow, because I'll see for 2.5 hours tomorrow. I'm guiding you through the lesson, so that should be relatively self-explanatory. If you would like to preview the lesson, however, then you're welcome to do so, and that's this one right here. Normally it'll be a PowerPoint, but because I'm using a different type of application, which most of you don't have downloaded, I exported it as a PDF. So this document right here, this is the lesson. And if you want to preview it, you're more than welcome to. This is what you're going to incorporate into your notes and study from for your quizzes and your test. If you're in Cohort B and you're doing the online, you're going to be doing this distance. So the first thing you're going to be looking at is this Padlet. I'd like to know what you did this summer, right? So you're going to grab a picture, something that's representative of any event you did this summer or something you did consistently in the summer, and you're going to post it up. And you'll give it a little title. You're welcome to comment on other people's posts, but this is a kind of a community building activity. Normally I'd have this conversation with you in class, but we are very limited for the small talk in class. Important talk, but this is where we'll do it, on the Padlet. Okay. So here's the Padlet here. So now you can see it. Padlet. And then complete initial essay and submit it to the Google Classroom. Initially, I gave instructions of complete it and put it into D2L, but D2L, I'm not sure if it's working properly or not. So we'll have the thing submitted to Google Classroom. GC stands for Google Classroom. Preview or review the biodiversity PowerPoint and the classification PowerPoints. So I'm typically on any given week, we're normally doing about 3 to 4 lessons compressed and combined. That's just the nature of the learning this year. So I don't want to make one big giant super lesson. I'm making lessons that cover the concepts. So when you look at the course material here, you will see the biodiversity PowerPoint, and you'll see the classification PowerPoint. So those are your 2 lessons that you can preview if you'd like. And then you get into the activity that you're supposed to be doing. So there's a thing called the Extended Anticipation Guide. If you go in here and you scroll down, you'll find the Extended Anticipation Guide. And how an Anticipation Guide works is before you do the reading, it's a reading exercise. So this prepares you for the reading and gets you in the right mindset. The Extended Anticipation Guide, you look at the statements and then you agree or disagree by selecting the box in the left-hand column. Then you leave that document. You're done with that. Okay? Once you've done this, then you're going to read the Biodiversity of Life article. So it's an article I wrote, and it's basically the textbook. If you use the textbook I wrote, so it's my words, so I'm just saving you time from finding the textbook and finding it in there. So you're going to find this article, Biodiversity of Life, right here, and you're going to read it. Okay? So it's several pages. Now, when you read this, there's something you should be doing. So here are the verbal instructions, and it's more detailed than what you'll see written in the written instructions. You are going to look for keywords. So see here it says make notes while reading, write key terms on sticky notes. You're not handing paper into me. So the program that you'll be using is MindDomo. The way you get to MindDomo is by logging in through BYOD. If you go to all the apps, you'll see MindDomo, right? And MindDomo is our board approved, it's actually ministry approved concept mapping software. So inside MindDomo, you can create a new mind map, right? And you have a choice here, mind map, right? Concept map. So I'm gonna do a concept map actually. And what you're going to do is you're going to read, I can find it here. You're going to read this. And you're going to find several words. Some words are bolded already. So as I go through here, see how fundamental principles of taxonomy, just take taxonomy. And nomenclature, classification, genre. So these bolded words you're going to take and list them down. But I also want you to, as you're reading, look for other key words. So there are words and, but, this, those aren't key words. But if you see words that are very particular to the biology of this concept as you're reading, take that down. So one student's list is going to look different from another student's list. And so in here, in the middle of the concept, you're going to write down biodiversity of life. And then you're going to write down those keywords. So the keyword might be genre and classification. I know I can spell. And as you put these keywords down, you're going to make connections, right? So you just drag the boxes to each other. And what should happen in a concept map? They should read as a sentence. So you might say classification includes, that's my connecting word here, includes genre, right? So you are creating a concept map. You're just connecting all the concepts together using that particular application, okay? So you're going to work through the reading. You're going to take out the keywords. You're going to put them into this concept map, and you're going to make a map out of it. And if there's 25 students in the class, I'd expect to see 25 different versions. The map is very unique. It's very particular to you and how your brain works. All right. Continuing through the instructions that I have on here, you're tasked to explain your concept map to somebody else. So explain what's going through your mind and why you created it like that. And you're going to just take a screenshot of your concept map. You're going to take your explanation, you put it into a Google Doc, and we'll have a class set of these for the class to kind of peruse through. That is a reading exercise, and what that does is it helps you get an understanding of classification. Another activity you can work on, and I'll be teaching this concept in face-to-face, but the activity will be done in the distance learning, so as homework. And this is a genetic diversity lab. So once again, when you come back to the listing here, you'll see genetic diversity lab. It's a Google Doc, and you each have your own. You're allowed to work on any of these with, well, not the anticipation guide, but you're allowed to work on this with a partner. And so just read the preamble, and it talks about what happens when we have reduced genetic biodiversity. And so you'll work your way through here, and you have to use a coin. But if you're like me, you probably don't have a lot of coins around the house, so you can use this random coin generator. And this random coin generator will allow you to do the same thing. So if you need to flip coins, you just tell it how many coins you want to flip. So I want to flip 6 coins, let's say. I tell it what coin I want to do. So I can go to Canada and I can flip a penny if I want, and I flip it. And so it will do all the work for me. Right? So that will save a lot of time when it asks you to flip the coins in order to complete the table. So read through the instructions, work by yourself, work with a partner. You'll notice that this is best done when we have a group of people working through this. So this table here, it's not shared as a class document because I don't know exactly when you'll complete it. It's shared as an individual document. So I want you to put your data in here. And then when you're looking for the rest of the class data that you can put into this chart, you'll notice on here it says data for genetics lab. You can click on this and you'll see some data. So you can use this here to fill in the data. And then that will allow you to do a proper analysis in order to answer the questions. Okay? So that is another part of the online distance learning you're doing outside away from me. And the final part is around classification. In tomorrow's lesson, we're going over 2 big chunks. We're going over biodiversity and its importance, what it is, and we're going over classification and creation of dichotomous keys. I would like you to go outside, there's still trees with leaves, and you're going to look at this dichotomous key, and I want you to identify three trees using the dichotomous key, and you'll put it into a collaborative document. We'll all share it with the class, and then I'll see what work you're doing. So all these things here complement the lesson. The lesson, I have activities built in, but we'll be doing those during class. Some of them you won't complete during class, we'll complete outside of class, and that'll be also homework. But when you're doing the specific lesson without me tomorrow, cohort B, these are your instructions. So hopefully that all makes sense. You can always shoot me an email and I will do my best to respond. I probably won't respond during class time, however, which is between 8:35 and 11:05, since I'll be with cohort A. All right? Hopefully that all makes sense. At the bottom here, you'll see the afternoon slots. We've already done Mondays, the meaning of life. You'll see that there is a lesson posted with the PowerPoint and the important points for the meaning of life. Slot 2, which is Wednesday afternoon, we'll be doing viruses. Slot 3, which is Thursday afternoon, I'll be introducing the culminating task, and it's also the summative project, so it's worth quite a bit. Right? So I look forward to teaching the first class of biology tomorrow and seeing you guys engaged in bio learning.